All I'm telling you is him on the Bears does not give them the Super Bowl. I'm not convinced that their roster is where it needs to be to mortgage everything for one guy.
All right, we have a betting favorite landing spot for Myles Garrett.
ESPN Bet?
No, not available at ESPN Bet, I don't believe. But it is, some offshore places have put up some numbers. The Washington Commanders are apparently the favorite to land Myles Garrett from Cleveland. Washington will be pushing all of their chips to the middle. Now, keep in mind, this is a Washington team that does have some holes, especially on their offensive line, which wasn't very good last year, despite even getting a good center, Tyler Biadasz and Nick Allegretti, a couple good players up front. Still not good as a whole. I kind of like this a lot for Washington. It feels like Houston going for Danielle Hunter a little bit, and that also works because of the second-year quarterback comp. But if you were the Commanders, would you go all in, go get Myles Garrett?
I would, yes. What are my assets that I can give back to the Browns? That's the question. What do they have? Do they want my draft capital? Do they want someone on my team as well? What do they have to give?
It's going to cost you your first-round pick this year and your first-round pick next year, whoever
It'll cost you more than that.
Yeah, but the highlight of the deal is going to be your two firsts. Whoever trades for Myles Garrett is going to give up their first-round pick this year and their first-round pick next year. I mean, just start with that.
That's a yes. As a baseline, that's a yes. Do you want something else?
It depends what else. I think in the Khalil Mack deal, the Bears got Mack and the second from the Raiders, which turned into Cole Kmet. But they gave up 2 1s, a 3,
and a 5.
And a 5, and then they paid Mack, at the time, the richest contract in the history of the NFL for a defensive player, $142 million. So if you're telling me I'm the Commanders, I got to give up number 1, another number 1, let's assume a number 3 because he's younger. Boy. And I got to pay the dude because he wants a new contract.
Well, while the Giants are terrible, the Giants, and the Cowboys are spinning their wheels, that's the closest I can get to the Eagles, Shay. It is. From a talent standpoint, I got the quarterback that I believe is the guy. I've got weapons on both sides of the football. I'm still building, by the way. Even though this was a charmed season for the Washington Commanders, I still have weapons. I still got room to build. Imagine if I solidify my defensive line by having Myles Garrett on the team. Okay, so I'm the closest to Eagles I can get at this point in time. The other two, I'm not worried about. That includes the Cowboys. So now I'm in the dance again.
And to your point, if the Cowboys are really going to entertain or potentially actually trade Micah Parsons, they will never move him in the division. They will never send him to Washington. So Washington's only option if they do want to go trade for an edge rusher, because I don't think they expected to be picking, 28th in the draft, 29th? If you told them going into the season they'd be picking 29th in the first round, they'd have thought you lost your mind.
Yeah, you're going to have to give up a lot more than the 28th or 9th pick and next year's one. A lot more.
But my point is they might also feel more reassured going after a known quantity and trading assets to get a Myles Garrett than relying on the 29th pick to become a star player.
It's so funny about Kap in this way, right? Kap is all about rolling the dice and being all in as a head coach or a manager. I like that. That's a riverboat gambler. But when it comes to front office, not so sure. Not so sure. If you're Washington, man, this is the way you are able to solidify your defense. Is it not?
One player. I'm not convinced that their roster is where it needs to be to mortgage everything for one guy. If you told me, wow, the Eagles went out and made that move,
you'd be impressed.
Yes, but the Eagles are the defending champs, and he just complements what they do. Washington needs a lot more talent. They had a great year.
You're so skittish when it comes to the front office, but if you're coaching, you're all in with rolling the dice.
It's not that I'm skittish. I have been around enough to watch teams like the freaking Chicago Bears. How'd that work out for Khalil? You didn't win anything. How'd that work out for Justin Fields when you gave up multiple ones? You didn't win anything, and you're like, got to get our draft capital back. No. I'm doing like Brad Holmes in Detroit. I'm going to keep adding talent. He lost Aiden Hutchinson. We're like, you got to move your one and go get somebody right now. He went, no, we'll be fine.
And they got mollywopped in their playoff game because they didn't have a defense that could stop a soul.
Yeah, and because their quarterback threw 5 interceptions.
Of course, 3, I think. But yeah.
And a fumble, whatever it was.
That's part of it.
It happens, but no.
They also gave up damn near 50 points. They couldn't get a stop because their defense fell apart. And the Lions are absolutely one of the teams that's in play for Myles Garrett this offseason.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Because they're at that point.
And to be fair, nobody won the Khalil Mack deal.
Yeah, because the Raiders never ended up doing anything.
Well, no, just neither team did anything.
Yeah.
What does that say for Josh Jacobs' career with the Raiders?
Right.
So
can we also just, I know Myles Garrett is one player. He's not one player. It's Myles Garrett. He's one of the single most impactful defensive players to ever step on the grass in this league. He rolls out of bed and gets double-digit sacks. You don't believe me? He's had 7 double-digit sack seasons in a row. He's one of the greatest defensive players in the history of this league. It's Myles Garrett. If you have an opportunity to go and get him, you go and get him. I don't care about anything else.
For me, from my standpoint, I never understand why it has to be either or. I never understand that when it comes to trying to build a team. You only build through the draft because that's the way you do it. You build through the draft.
I'm not saying that. I just don't think the Bears are in the position, or maybe not Washington, where you go, all right, I'm pushing all in. I mean, it's going to cost them so much in draft capital. Now, again, if you told me the Eagles and the Chiefs and who are the other elite teams in the NFL that feel like, man, we're close to winning it. The Ravens. Now, they're not going to deal in the same division. I get that. But I'm giving you teams that feel like we're close, man. We can win.
You can do both. I never understand that. When you're trying to build a team, it tastes great and it's less filling. You could actually be able to trade draft capital for the sure thing and also build through the draft at the same time. You can do both.
Well, if you're giving away your 1s and 2s, it's very tough to build through the draft. That's just a fact.
Well, then they should shut down the draft after the second round.
I'm not saying that, but you're not going to get the impactful players unless you hit a home run in late round drafting.
Or you develop them.
But that's also not true. I'm going to get the impactful player in Myles Garrett. That's where,
Agreed.
if I'm the Bears and I go into if I come out of free agency and I've got Trey Smith and Drew Dalman, and I've addressed my offensive line, center and right guard, and I'm feeling pretty good about it, and I'm still holding second-round picks, and I can rip Myles Garrett from the Browns for 2 1s and a 3, get me on the phone. Yes, I'm doing it. There's nobody I'm taking in either of the next 2 first rounds that's Myles Garrett. It's just the odds of that are 0.001%. You're requiring one of the all-time great defensive players.
We have to start saying this in our sports conversation, Cap. When you're trying to make a deal like a Myles Garrett, it's better than your first-round pick or picks. It's better than, not the same as. Tell me I'm wrong about that. Myles Garrett is better than any of your ones you want to covet. He is.
Yeah, he's a tremendous player. But if I drop Myles Garrett on the Bears, they're not winning the Super Bowl. The Browns have had him with all these double-digit sacks, and guess what? Would they win? 4 games?
Have they had him with a quarterback? It's not Myles Garrett's fault that the front office gave Deshaun Watson the most guaranteed money in NFL history.
I'm not saying it is. All I'm telling you is him on the Bears does not give them the Super Bowl.
But do you believe in Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I do.
You get a center and a right guard. You got protection. You got the coordinator you wanted, right? We got the head coach we all wanted. We got the defensive coordinator we all wanted in Dennis Allen. You go out and add Myles Garrett. Why are they not winning? Why are they not contending for a Super Bowl? You would have arguably the best defensive player in the league, a retooled offensive line, good receivers, a great secondary, and we can't come out of that and go, oh, this team could absolutely contend. Of course we could. It's Myles Garrett. I can't say it enough. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. He's not just a tremendous player. He's not just the Khalil Mack trade all over again. He's one of the greatest defensive players in the history of the NFL.
What if they said, we want your next 2 1s, your next 2 2s? You doing it?
He just keeps moving the goalposts. It's the best.
I'm asking the question.
It's
'cause
crazy.
You're going to have multiple teams after him. You're not getting him for pick 29 and another 1. That's just stupid.
Well, that's
It's
Washington.
not going to happen.
That's Washington. But the Bears?
You're not getting him.
Pick 10, next year's 1, add in a 3 and a 5.
You're not
whatever
getting
you
him
wanna
for
do.
that. You're not getting him for that.
It's the Khalil Mack trade, and I'm not even asking for a second-round pick back because I'm getting a much better player. I'm getting Myles Garrett.
What I find funny about the conversation is you get Myles Garrett and you feel, oh, I'm folding my arms, we're good. You don't stop there. That's a big asset that you have on your football team, but it doesn't mean, well, we're good. We got Myles Garrett. You still keep trying.
And I'm trying to set it up in a way where I still get at least one of the 2 second-round picks that I have, and maybe I can get another guard and put him at left guard.
You're still
and then you've got 4th-round picks, and you've got – they have so many – they have picks falling out of their ass, Cap. They can make a move.
I'm just asking you, if they asked you for 2 1s and 2 2s, are you doing it? I'm not.
They're the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'm not.
In this draft, yeah. 2 1s and 2 2s, I'd have to look at myself in the mirror really hard, but I think it's Myles Garrett, man. Yeah, I'd probably do it.
Would you, Hoodie?
And I don't know that I want to speak that into
2
existence.
1s and 2 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not.
Yeah, certainly will.
I would not.
I don't think it takes 2 2s. I think it could be an asset off my team that can be in place of one of those draft picks, one of those second-round draft picks.
Who are they taking off the Bears? Give me a guy that they would really want that you want to let go.
Someone from my secondary.
So they want 2 1s, a 2, and Kyler Gordon? I'm not doing it.
I didn't say
Sorry.
him. I meant Jonathan Owens.
Oh, yeah.
I think
I got star power there, too.
I think they'd ultimately like to
From his
get a
wife.
quarterback back. Like, I think the most intriguing team is the Lions because they could just go, here's Hendon Hooker.
Yes.
And maybe the Browns find that attractive. No, man, like, I don't think it's going to cost 2 1s and 2 2s.
It won't.
I would absolutely entertain doing it. And now's the time to strike because now's the time when you aren't paying your quarterback. So you can build through the draft all you want. The problem is if you do hit home runs and find stars in the draft, you're going to end up paying those guys after you pay your quarterback, and you're going to have to make decisions on most of them where they can't be here. Where Myles Garrett, I can get him, pay him now, and I'm set. Only fear is that Myles Garrett falls off a cliff with age. Could it happen? Sure. But again, he's one of the greatest players in the history of the league.
No, I understand what you're saying. And actually, if I make that move, I'm doing Ryan Poles, and I green-lighted if I'm Kevin Warren. I'm doing Ryan Poles a favor. I'd rather have Myles Garrett than another Velus Jones pick. That makes your job easier.
John No H and Twitch says 2 1s, a 3rd, and Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah, I'll drive Tremaine Edmonds to Cleveland. I'll stop by and say hi to Tony Rizzo.
That's
just
funny.
dropped off Tremaine Edmonds, Tony.
They're not doing that.
All right. No, but all of this, Cap, all of this is a conversation. No one's saying that, no one's reporting or saying the Bears are going to do that. We're just having a barroom conversation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm saying the Browns are not saying, yeah, give us Tremaine Edmonds back. Yeah, no.
Maybe. Wow. Maybe. All right, coming up, Cap, I got a spot for us to go tomorrow night. It's going to be great. You like Seinfeld, don't you?
I do.
We need to go someplace where Seinfeld is celebrated. That is next. Kap and J Hood, weekday morning, 7 to 10.